at the beginning of the semester. Okay, Darian Fry, can you stand up? This is Darian. She's on the left over there in the picture. She's an undergraduate teaching assistant for us this semester. And she's majoring in biology and music, right? Okay. And then second, Caroline Pittman. And she's a psychology major, and she's going to be an undergraduate teaching assistant with us. You'll see both of these guys during the week. Caroline's, you're going to be here Tuesdays, and you're going to be here
half a Tuesday and then all of Thursday.
Half a Tuesday and all of Thursday. So you'll be seeing both of these guys, and you'll be talking to them inside web courses during discussions and so forth concerning homework and whatnot. And in fact, they sometimes set up office hours during the semester, just as I do. So coming to office hours with me is good, and also coming to office hours to study with them is also good. So those are the TAs. And by the way, this image, did you guys see this picture? This is the stack of final exams from last semester. So just about a month ago, a gigantic stack, all those, several different colors, unbelievable. All right, supplemental instruction. Another thing that we need to introduce briefly. Some of you are familiar with supplemental instruction. It's run by the SARC, Student Academic Resource Center. Our SI leader is Maria. Can you stand up, Maria? And she is going to give us the schedule for SI meetings sometime next week, hopefully. And now we're going to have a message from Kristen from SARC. So go ahead, take it away, Kristen.
Hey everyone. Every semester when we do SI, whenever we can, we like to have one of the supervisors come in to say a few words about SI and give you some information. Fortunately, Dr. B has had us for a long time, so he pretty much does our job for us. But just to introduce you all a little bit to SI, I would like to start off with asking you all if you're familiar with it. So if you've either been to a session for another class or if you've heard of SI, please raise your hand. Okay, that's pretty good. So we got about half of you who are already at least somewhat familiar. What we do over at SARC is we hire a supplemental instruction leader for the classes that we offer SI for. The student has always taken the class already, received an A in the class. A lot of times, like in Maria's case, she's taken and sat through the class multiple times. She's a returning SI leader. She'll sit through the class with you again. That's one of my favorite parts of SI because when they sit through the class with you, they know exactly where you're at in the material. They have a good relationship with the professor. So they can help you out a lot with the material. Once we have our SI leader sit through everything, they start offering 4 sessions per week that are study sessions for all the students in the class. We go over any material that you want to. It's very open-ended. You can come in with questions, certain topics that you want to go over. Our SI leaders won't read lecture to you. So it's very student-based, very group-based. So it can be whatever you want it to be. Lots of group work, lots of participation. So we have a really good time with our sessions. Once they get started next week, they're very consistent all semester. So it usually starts the second week of classes, and then it goes all the way up until finals week with a consistent schedule. You don't necessarily have to go all the time. You can just stop in whenever you want, whenever you need the extra help. But I always recommend that even though some of you may not be struggling at all, it's a great refresher, it's a way to review. So even if you're doing really well in the class, it's still a really good way to stay up to date on all the material. Of course, the services are completely free. It's offered through SARC, so there's no fee for any service that we have currently. And again, you don't necessarily have to go to all the sessions. It's helpful when you just come from time to time even. So anytime you have that free spot in your schedule, please feel free to stop by. Again, our schedule will be coming out next week. Maria, I believe, will be sitting through this particular section with you. So as soon as that schedule comes out, she'll have that for you. She'll let Dr. B know. We'll be sure to share that with you. She'll be covering section 2 also. So of course, we'll share all that information with the other students as well. And if you have any questions, she'll be in class. You're welcome to approach her before or after class. Or if you have any questions for the SARC office, please feel free to follow up with us anytime too. Like Dr. B said, my name's Kristen. I do coordinate the SI program. I was lucky enough to be able to come in today and do this announcement myself. So you're more than welcome to find me on the SARC website and ask me questions as well. Any questions from anyone? Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself for a moment?
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Maria Spinetti. I'll be sitting in this section you ever want to approach me with any questions about the system. If you don't know what SI is or you're curious about it, I really encourage you all to come to one of the sessions once we announce that to see if that's something that you like and that you're interested in, and then keep going. It has been really beneficial when I took the same class almost a year ago now, and this is my second semester doing SI, so I hope to see some of your faces in any of our sessions, and I hope you have a wonderful semester.
Maria a little bit more on you. She's done an awesome job for us. Y'all are really lucky to have her. She's done this class multiple times. So I really encourage you all to check out some sessions if you get the chance. Any
Okay.
questions, Dr. B? Good?
That's it. And I just verify also that it definitely helps. So if you can just go for half an hour on Tuesdays, for instance, every week, it's going to help. And you're going to see it in your grades on exams, usually one letter grade higher. And it works out nicely. So now you won't all be able to make it, but when you can, it's very good strategy to do that. Okay, can you turn it to presentation mode? I'm recording this, a lecture, and we'll be putting it up on YouTube a little bit later today. The web courses area, I don't think it's quite ready. I hope to have it ready by supper time or so. They're still fussing around with it. They're combining both sections into one ginormous web courses area. So it's, but I think it'll be ready by tonight. But let's go ahead and start talking about the actual topic for this semester. I love this picture. Did you ever have somebody yell at you? You spend all your time looking at your cell phone. You ever hear anybody complain? You like your parents, you know? And you walk around, it's true. I mean, you walk around campus, especially right after class gets out, and there'll be any number of students, and they're right in the cell phone. And that's what these guys are doing in this photograph. And so the question, why do we do that? What is it what is it that we seek? Why do we do that all the time? I mean, you go out the door of the classroom, you're in your phone. Bang. And if it's not that, it's your iPad. And if it's not that, it's your laptop. And if it's not that, you know, what are we looking for? I mean, you look at sunsets, beautiful sunsets like this one up in the mountains. What are you looking for? Look at this picture. Look at this hawk grabbing himself some dinner. Why does that catch our eye? What is it? What is it that we're doing? I mean, you got guys coming into office in the government. This is Senator Scott from South Carolina. He's getting administered an oath of office. Why do they do that? I mean, if you're really serious about taking the oath, you get your mom to hold the Bible. That's what he's doing. I love this picture. In Congress, they do the same thing. You know, you're testifying before some Congress, some committee of Congress. You know, you take the oath. How's that go? I swear to tell the whole truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. You know, and here's a. So if you're an FBI director, like this guy on the left, James Comey, or this soldier, Oliver North, on the right, or if you're a regular civilian testifying in Congress, what is it that why do we do that? What is it we're looking for? Here's another one, in a court of law. You know, you're testifying in court, you're a witness for the prosecution, a witness for the defense. You got to take an oath, just like this guy. You know, you wear your best suit, you go up there, and you testify. Matter of fact, think about all the stuff that we do. What? Hey, look at this picture. Another picture, all these people. What are we doing? What is it that we're doing? What is this thing that we do? Everything that we're doing, we're looking for the truth. We're looking for that which is true. Those in Congress, in the court of law, the expectation is that they will tell the truth. That's why they administer an oath. An office, you take an office in Congress, the Senate, or the House of Representatives, the expectation, or any other office of the government, the expectation is that you'll discharge your duties faithfully. And you swear an oath that you're telling the truth about that. And that is what we do. And what we're going to be talking about in the most basic terms is this semester. We're going to be answering this question. What is the sign of the truth? This thing that we seek in everything that we do. Think about it. Is there anything that you do, especially with your friends, that is not preconditioned by requiring or by seeking that which is true? And that's what we're after in this class. It's called Physical Science 1121. We're going to do a little bit of math, a lot of physics, a little bit of chemistry. Maybe we'll squeeze in a little bit of geology. Maybe a little astronomy on the side. But this is what we're going to be tackling. Now, in lecture on Thursday, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of this, and we'll start the story with Professor Galileo. If you've got your textbook already, you'll be able to read about Professor Galileo. This is the thing that Galileo has started and that we are following. His search for the truth, and we're part of it now. You guys, you're in my class. You're part of it. You're students of Galileo, just as I am, just as Sir Isaac Newton was, and all the great scientists, from Newton to Michael Faraday to Albert Einstein, and all the way up till to the present day, to us, to you guys. And even though you're not science majors or engineering majors, thank God. Any engineering majors in here? Sometimes there's one or two. One. Okay. One rep. Yes. You know, engineering majors, they can be kind of a pain in the, you know. But I mean, they're good guys and everything. But, sometimes they're a little bit, But anyways, this thing that you guys are part of the program now too. You're in the school with Galileo is the leader of this school. And we're following his footsteps. All right. Now that's the basic question of our entire semester. We'll spend the next 14 weeks, 15 weeks I guess, including spring break, answering these questions and figuring out how Galileo answered those questions. Now, I want to go over the syllabus with you so we can get down to the nitty-gritty. So if you can, Darian and Caroline and Darian, just pass out big bundles and grab yourself a syllabus. It's one page. And just grab you that. And actually, I need one. Caroline, can I have one? Thank you. And hey, you guys, we're going to go to the lights on. So. And turn to page 1. We'll just start with this one. Who doesn't have a syllabus? Okay, there's some floating around. There's some guys in the back. Who doesn't have a syllabus yet? Okay, a couple guys up in the front row. Can you send some syllabuses up this way? Now, Emily, what we're going to do is we're going to go over this syllabus. See, I already learned somebody's name.
Anyone still missing one?
Number 1. Who doesn't have a syllabus? Extras. Who's got extra syllabuses? All right. Okay, let's go over it. You've already been introduced to me and Darian and Caroline. My office, this is the upper right of the syllabus, is Physical Sciences Building, PSB, and the room number is PS156. Now that's my regular office. We hold office hours in 158. That's one door. That's on the other side of the elevator from my office. It's a little bit bigger room, and that'll be 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock on Wednesdays, and I'll be there tomorrow. All right, so if you want to come in and talk about anything from A to Z, the price of tomatoes to Sir Isaac Newton, anything you want to talk about, grades, etc., just come on in. And you don't have to come in at exactly 9, just drop in when you can. If you only have to stay for 5 minutes, that's fine. 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out, bang, that's fine. All right. Course description. This is set by UCF, Fundamental Laws of Mechanics, Heat, Waves, Electricity, Magnetism, Chemical Processes and Equations, Properties of Gases, Liquids and Solids, and Solutions. Textbook, that's written by me. It is an e-book. It's not there's no hardcover version of it. There's no printed version of it. There's the ISBN. And there's a little blurb below that table to show you where to get it. Do not use conventional email with me. I won't answer it. Okay, there's just too many of you guys. But what you do want to use is the messaging inbox system inside web courses. Definitely use that. And I'm on that like 24/7. All right. So it's a much more reliable way to get to me. Twitter, Brainwave777X. We'll be using that through the semester for various things. Okay, for this class, the final exam is May 2nd, 10 a.m. in this room. Okay, now we meet lecture-wise 10:30, but for the final, 10 o'clock. Don't be late. Who's that?
Oh, it's Amber Alert.
What is that, an Amber Alert?
Yeah.
Did they get that guy yet? St. Johns County. Man, that guy that shot all those police officers? Brother. Okay, so final exam. Your homework is going to be inside web courses too. So it'll be multiple choice, matching. There'll be some calculations where you type it in, figure out a number on pencil and paper, and then type it in and submit it. It works pretty good. And I'll be showing you how to make those calculations. It's normal. Okay, let's keep going down that first column. Ordering the textbook. Yeah, the kendallhunt.com/Brickner link. If you do not have to buy at the bookstore, you may enjoy buying it directly from the publisher for this reason. It is less expensive. And I personally wish that the book was cheaper. I made it an ebook specifically so that the cost would be less. But I understand. Has anybody bought it at the? What is it going for at the bookstore? 100. Oh man, 121. Oh man. But I think the publisher's website is maybe 90 something. I haven't looked at that lately. Anybody get it from the publisher yet? Okay. 85 bucks. Okay. So that's a nice chunk of change. But I understand some of you have to buy it at the bookstore. So. And get the bookshelf software. That works really good from vitalsource.com. I like it a lot. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the next week or two. Policies. All general UCF policies apply, especially see the Golden Rule and the UCF Creed. All right. Among which there is the expectation of academic integrity, which I also try to hold to. Accommodations. UCF is committed to providing reasonable accommodations for all persons with disabilities, and I share that same commitment. Students with disabilities who need accommodations must be registered with Student Accessibility Services, SAS, in the Farrell Commons building, room 7, or room 185, and the phone numbers are down there. You have to do that before requesting accommodations from me for exams. Students registered with SAS that need accommodations must initiate contact through SAS and Knights Access. And there's their website. No accommodations will be provided until the student has used the SAS Knights Access system to request accommodations. And if that applies to you, do not sweat it. Just get the paperwork rolling. We do this every semester. It works good. And we'll get you squared away. So, but you got to get it rolling. I can't do it for you. All right, mandatory exam attendance. Lovely. Exams, midterms. At UCF, academics comes first. You better underline that because that is my total attitude. I don't really give a rip about, what you're doing off campus, but I do care. And to me, academics comes first. You're paying money. You're here voluntarily. That's the expectation. Attendance at exams is mandatory. University excused absences are only for religious observances, so like Passover, Good Friday, intercollegiate activities and athletics, military call-up, university-verified family or medical emergencies, weddings, plane tickets that your parents got you on Priceline.com, etc., are not legitimate excuses. I see somebody in the back's kind of smiling and looking over in this direction at somebody. You just gotta go by the schedule for exams and stuff. I don't keep strict tabs on attendance in lecture. You have a little bit of leeway to miss lecture, but you have no leeway to miss exams. You've got to make them. Okay. It is physics department policy that making up missed work, let's go back up here, will only be permitted for university-sanctioned activities and bona fide medical or family reasons. Authentic justifying documentation must be provided in every case and in advance for university-sanctioned activities. Okay, so if you're on the debate team or the band or some performance group or an athletic team and you have a travel schedule, your advisor or your coach is going to give you something called the program verification form. Okay? And you'll be bringing that to me. Now, hopefully, your travel schedule, if that applies to you, it will not interfere with exams. But if it does, we've got to have that documentation. If you're in the hospital, or the doctor's under doctor's care and they say you have to stay home, which happens, we've got to have medical documentation for that. By the way, family emergencies is normally what that means is if a hurricane hits and your family's down in Miami and you're up here and you got to go help mom and dad get ready for the hurricane. So that's mainly for fall semester, right? And the semester we had Charlie, Francis, and Jeannie back in 2004 when you guys were little shrimpy kids in third grade, some of you, I guess. Who was here for Charlie, Francis, and Jeannie, 2004? A bunch of yous. Yeah. And that was a rough year. But anyways, there were a lot of family emergencies that year. So we had a lot of fancy footwork to do. But anyways, let's keep going with this. At the discretion of the instructor, and this is at the top of the second column, page 1, the makeup may take any reasonable and appropriate form, including but not limited to the following: a replacement exam, replacing the missed work with the same score as a later exam, or allowing a dropped exam. Circle that last phrase, allowing a dropped exam. That is what we do in this class. Okay? So circle it or underline it. That's what we do. We don't have makeups. We don't have, equivalent exams. We have one dropped. We have a set of midterms. We drop one, the lowest, keep the best two. Now let's keep going. Cheating. Any cheating I detect on exams will be punishable by no less than a 0 on the exam in question and up to expulsion from UCF. And operating another student's clicker, iClicker, is also considered cheating. So don't do that. We'll be able to figure it out. If you're absent every semester, I have to punish a few students. So don't do that. Federal surveillance, lovely topic. As of fall 2014, all faculty members are required to document students' academic activity at the beginning of each course. In order to document that you began this course, please complete the assigned homework during the first week of classes. And that's good for us. That's going to be homework 0, which will activate tonight. And it's very cinchy, very easy. All you got to just click an answer and you're good. Failure to do so, please complete the assigned homework during the first week of classes or as soon as possible after adding the course up to and including January 13th. That's this Friday. Failure to do so will result in a delay in the disbursement of your financial aid. Very nice. And note that we will use regular class homework in web courses to comply with this regulation. So that you'll be able to get that out of the way tonight, hopefully, if web courses is ready. And if not, tomorrow night. And by class on Thursday, you should be all squared away. Very easy. And just so you know, in your other classes, they normally do this. The people that do it in web courses, what the system administrators are looking for are clicks. That's it. If you click anywhere inside of web courses, they have a record of it. So if you click on a picture, a link, a quiz, homework assignment, they record it, and that's what they look for. And that signifies that you've participated in the class. So it's not like, you have to pass some, super duper test of 100 questions or something like that. It's just one click will do it. They don't want you to know that, but I don't mind telling you. Okay, grade scale. Straight letter grades, no plus or minus. It goes by points by the semester end. So it's oriented to a percentage basis. So you might want to make a note of this. It's down at the bottom of the page. Let me go down here. The grade scale down there at the bottom of the page. 90% or higher for an A. So, oh my goodness, I did it again. 75% of 250. Typo. Doggone it, I thought quick calculator time. 0.75 times 250. Okay, on the syllabus, I hate this. It says 1 at the bottom, B, 178 points. It should be 188 points. 75% is correct, and 75% of 250 is 187.5, so round it up to 188. All right, so put 188 in there, and I am really sorry. I missed that typo. I thought I got it, but 225 is good for, at the end of the semester, 225 is 90% of 250. We'll have 250 points total. C, 60% or more. That by the end of the semester, that means 150 points out of 250. D, 50% or more. That's half the points, 125. All right? And then F is below that. All right. And if you look above that table, you'll see the set of tasks that we have that generate points for your semester grade. There's 3 midterm exams. We'll take the best 2 out of 3 if you take 3. We have homework for 25 and classroom participation, 25 points each. And those are each 10% of your grade. The best 2 out of 3 midterms is 40% of your grade. Final is 100 points. So the final is double the size of a midterm. Midterm is 50 points. Final will be 100. But the final exam, you get 3 times as much time as you do for a midterm. So the final exam is pretty nice. That's 40% of your grade total of 100%. There'll be a little bit of bonus points here and there for extra credit, but nothing enormous. So, just plan to get your points by doing homework and stuff. All right, strategy for taking down a top grade. And this is in the top half of the page. You'll find this course challenging but not impossible. Exams will contain plenty of basic material, so that if you do the normal amount of studying and you come faithfully to class and do your homework every time, they're going to be tough to flunk. I mean, you might not get an A, but if you do the normal amount of studying, you come to class faithfully, do your homework every time, most of the time you're going to be okay. You're not going to flunk. Second paragraph. But even if you go above and beyond the call of duty, if you come to my office hours, and Caroline's office hours, and Darian's office hours, and every session of SI, and do extra studying and listen to the YouTubes of lecture twice, you're still going to find it challenging to get 100%. I mean, 90%, you go above and beyond, you might be able to get that. But getting 100% ace in a test, it's not easy. It's been done, but it is not easy. So my testing philosophy is on the next line there. Tough to flunk and tough to ace. And usually that works out pretty good for pretty much everybody, right? And by the end of the semester, under that testing method, that philosophy of writing a test, a lot of people will be in the situation where to get a B for the semester, they have to get a B on the final. To get an A for the semester, they have to get an A on the final. And I think that's fair. And that is the way it works out for a lot of people. Now, some people are good on the final. They have a good solid A going into the final, and they don't have to get an A to take home an A for the semester. But a lot of people, it'll be get an A on the final, you'll get an A for the semester. Okay. So, and also, it's not on the syllabus, but I want you to listen carefully to what I'm about to say. In this class, you are going to find that some of you will find that even though you came into class thinking, oh man, I suck at science, I hate it, I'm no good, I'm flailing. By the end of the semester, I never know who it's going to be, but I always know that it could be you with the blue hat. It could be you with the red shirt. Okay? It could be you all the way back there with the blue shirt. It could be anybody. You over there on the aisle with the red outfit. Crushing my midterms and crushing and beating down my final. I never know who it's going to be, but I know it. I always know it's going to be somebody. So look to the left, look to the right. It could be one of your neighbors or it could be you. So work hard. And you're just going to surprise yourself. You're going to say, hey, Dr. B, I'm starting to get this stuff. I never thought I could think like a scientist. Yeah, just stick with me. You'll be all right. Anyway, so tough to flunk, tough to ace. All right, next. See you later there. So top of page 2, my normal advice, study faithfully, come to class, be ready to crush everything in your path. And that word in the second line on page 2, you must think. Thinking is the hardest work you're going to do in this class. But that's what I'm going to call you to do. You've got to think. So if you're a person that, man, I loved anatomy because I could make my flashcards and my Quizlet, and man, I crushed it. Flashcards, Quizlet may be a little bit helpful, but you've got to think. Memorizing is not the same as thinking. All right? And in this class, you've got to, and I'm not going to expect you to memorize. I'll give you, a page of formulas and stuff. I'll give you formulas. You won't have to worry about memorizing formulas. You'll have to remember how to use them and how to think with them as tools instead of memorizing. Okay, page 2 at the top left. Let's get to it here. Strategy for taking down an F for the semester. Yeah, pretty easy. Just don't come to class. Don't do any homework. Piece of cake. Every semester I give out some Fs. And to tell you guys, some faculty, do you ever have the feeling that some faculty love to give out an F, especially to a student that they don't like? I hate giving out Fs. I hate it because, I love giving out A's. And especially A's for students that, like Caroline. She's not an engineering major. She's about as far from that as you can get. She's fairly normal. But she got an A, she just crushed it. She took it, to
Yeah, like
a year ago.
a year ago, yeah.
Yeah, fall
2015.
Fall of 2015. And she crushed it. And that's what I like. But, I give out Fs, a few Fs and a few Ds. Not too many. And usually, when I look at their grades and their numbers and stuff, usually it's because they didn't come to class and they didn't do homework. But so that's why I always say, if you do the homework and if you come to class, you might not get an A, but you're going to do fairly good. All right? So, questions so far? Question? All right, I have a question for you. Would you like to dismiss early today? You think? Hey, I have another question for you. For those of you that are in this class, this is Tuesday, Thursday, raise your hand if on Thursdays, this is your last class of the week. Nice. Because a lot of times on Thursdays we dismiss early. So that's, and if it's your last class of the week, you're looking good. All right, let's keep going. Homework. Homework. We love homework. I frequently assign homework at the end of each lecture. And it's due, normally speaking, it's due at the beginning of the next lecture. Now, homework zero you have all week. It's a special homework. But regular physics homework, if I give it on a Tuesday at 11:45, it'll be due on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. All right? So do not make a mistake and do be alert. Definitely be alert. And the same thing for Thursday. So if I give you something on Thursday in class, homework 17 or whatever, it'll be due the next Tuesday. So Tuesday assignments are going to be a little bit smaller usually for that reason because you have to have 2 days. And the Thursday assignments will be a little bit longer because you have a whole weekend. But anyways, now the homework, you're going to have way more than 25 homework questions. All right? So way more than 25 points. I mean, some assignments are like 16, 17 points in one assignment. Right? So what we do is we add up all your homework points and divide by how many possible, and that gives us a percentage. Okay? And then we multiply that by 25, and that's your homework pointage for the semester grade. And there's an example here. It says, for instance, if by semester's end you answered 92 out of 113 homework questions correctly, that would be 81.4%. Multiply that by 25, and you get 20.35 points. And then I round up to straight 21. So I always give you a benefit of the doubt on that, the homework points. Okay. Questions about that? Okay. Let's keep going. iClicker. Did you bring it? Do you have an iClicker? Can you give me my bag there? Hold on a second. I don't know if I have my... Anybody have an iClicker with you? Let me see if I got one in here. No. Hold on. Let me check over here. There's the iClicker base. No, I don't have it. Hold up. Can you hold up your iClicker? Yeah. Hold up. Everybody that's got one, hold it up in the air so everybody else can see it. It's a white. That's the box. It's inside that. Yeah. So there's one over there. We go. It's a white clicker. Yeah. And engineering, sweet. So okay, you can put them down now. And it's iClicker 2. It has a little display screen. Now, if you have iClicker 1, you can't use that. And the reason is we have to use iClicker 2 because we're going to be inputting numbers for some of our answers. Some of it's going to be multiple choice A, B, C, D, or E. But some of it, you're going to even be writing in sentences with the keyboard feature. Like a little old-time cell phone, where you have to hit the C 3 times, or the three times to get the letter F, stuff like that. That's how the iClicker will let you put in numbers, equations, everything. So we'll be doing that from time to time, so you got to have iClicker 2. And the picture of it's right there. Okay. No class is needed to register, no class code. But you have to register in web courses. I cannot overemphasize the importance of that. If you do not register in web courses, not iClicker.com, I mean, yes, you can, but that won't help because I don't synchronize to iClicker.com. So if you do that, it's floating off out there on the iClicker.com website. It's not doing any earthly good for you. Only if you use the iClicker tool inside web courses. And all you got to do is type in the serial number. It's these little teeny numbers on the back. And Emily, it just, it's pretty easy to type in. So, anyways, do that, and it'll be registered, and then you get your participation points. This semester, the deadline for registration is January 31st. So that's 2 Tuesdays from now. So have your iClicker purchased and registered by January 31st. Now, we'll do some clicking in class Thursday and then next week for practice. And whoever is registered early before January 31st, you'll get a bonus point. All right? So to get you registered early, you can start off the semester with a bonus point for every day, every class that you're registered. Thursday this week, Tuesday next week, Thursday next week, and then regular clicking activity starts 2 Tuesdays from now, the 30th. Is that right? Is it 2 Tuesdays from now? Wait a minute. Is it 3 Thursdays? So today's the 17th, 24th. Yeah, okay. So so that's, so you can get 5 bonus points. Sweet. Okay. Anyways, get that squared away by January 31st, and you'll be golden. Okay. Let's see. What else does it say here? Exam attendance is mandatory, but regular lecture attendance is not mandatory. That being the case, there's a built-in leeway for 1 or 2 absences due to a dentist appointment, roommate issues, etc. And the way that we do that is you have to answer not 100% of the questions, but 85% of the questions. All right? So if we have 100 questions, that means that if you miss like 2 lectures over the semester, you're still going to be at on average, you're going to be at 85%. You'll get all 25 out of 25. Okay, so just be here every day and click, and that's if you answer correctly or incorrectly. All right? It's a participation grade. It's not that part of it is not a performance grade. 25 out of 25 in your semester grade is for participation, whether correct or incorrect. So it behooves you to be here and click and participate. So more than 85% answered, you get 25 out of 25 for your semester grade. Fewer than 85% answered, and we make your pointage proportional to that. And there will be a PDF, a narrated PDF, what I call a talking PDF, in web courses a little bit later this week with an example of how the clicking pointage works if you're below 85%. So if you answer only 81% of the questions, you're going to be pretty good, but you won't be 20. You might not be 25 out of 25. Okay. You might be 24 out of 25 or something like that. Just depends on how the numbers stack up. But there'll be an example for you to look at in web courses. Okay, to earn these class participation points, you must do 3 things. Okay, you have to have the iClicker with you in lecture. All right, if you forget it at home, that's why we have the 85% leeway factor. You can do that once or twice, and it's no skin off your nose. 2, or B, you have to have the iClicker 2 in working order. So that means make sure that you've got Energizers or Duracells in there. And if you buy it yourself, it comes with really cheap batteries, which I would not trust very long at all. So be ready to get some Energizers in there, and you'll be good. C, your iClicker must be registered through web courses only. I cannot overemphasize that. If you don't do that, you'll be able to click. And let me ask you to listen very carefully. If you don't register your clicker, you'll be able to click and you'll get a little check mark. That signifies, yeah, Dr. B just got your clicker's signal. You know, the letter C or 7.2 or whatever you just clicked in. You get a little check mark. That's the feedback feature. Means jack if you're not registered. Because I receive all the data if there's anybody clicking. I mean, if somebody's out in the hall from another class and they accidentally click their clicker, I'll pick it up. I don't know whose it is, you know. And if you're not registered, I won't know, you know, I'll be picking up your clicker, some serial number, I don't know who it is, all right? But when you register, then it basically what it does is it connects your NID to the serial number of your iClicker. And once you've done that, then you're golden. And I'll know every click that you send is actually from you. All right. By the way, you may want to, if you don't have an iClicker, you can borrow from a friend. So a roommate, you know, next door neighbor, if they're not using their iClicker 2 on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:30 to noon, you can use it. Register it in web courses, in my website, in our web courses area, and you're good to go. And then they can use it in their classes, you know. So, you know, or they can use it next semester. Also, you know, the calculus class that was right before us. I ducked my head in here before when they were still in here, and she was talking about iClicker and how to register it. It's a huge issue for iClicker. Anyways, if you register for another class using iClicker.com, you can do that, but you still have to register with me on web courses. We have an enormous roster of students operating. We cannot do it through iClicker.com. I mean, theoretically, you could do it, but my software doesn't synchronize to iClicker.com. Right? So you have to do it through web courses. And if your other class does it through iClicker.com, you know, you have a little class with 26 students, that's fine. You could do both. But for me, to get pointage in this class, you have to be registered through web courses. Combination of clicking and homework. Let's take a look at that. Okay, combination of clicking and homework. If you think about it, 25 points for homework, 25 points for clicking. That's 50 points. That's the same size as a midterm. Now, what you may not realize, but what I want you to understand from today forward is, those are easy points to get. Homework, you're going to have 4 attempts usually on each homework assignment, because they're study tools basically. You could take it once and then go, the answers that you get incorrect, you can study and get them right and get full points on each homework assignment. So many of you are going to get 25 out of 25 on homework. Similarly with clicking, if you come to every class, and most of you will, and you click on every question, you're going to get 25 out of 25. Now those two things add up to 50 points. And that's the same size as a midterm. So if you get like a 23 out of 50 on a midterm, and then you miss a midterm, and then your second midterm is 33 out of 50, that's a C. But 23 out of 50 is an F. So if that happens to you, but you also have 50 out of 50 for clicking and homework, it feels a lot nicer. It takes a little sting out of that 23. All right, so the clicking and the classwork, the participation, and the homework together can really take the sting out of a stinky midterm exam score. All right? And you won't know what you have until the end of the semester. But if you keep working faithfully, you'll be 25 out of 25 all the way through the semester and up to the final, and then you'll know that you've got 50 out of 50 or maybe 49 out of 50 or something like that. That's pretty nice too. Exam procedures. Yeah, just regular. The Scantron that you want to bring is the raspberry colored one that has the UCF Pegasus logo, number 2 pencil. Bring an eraser, a good one. Calculator is good. Any kind of calculator. If it has a square root key, it should be good. No cell phone, though. You may not use a cell phone on the exam. So you may not use a cell phone calculator on the exam. All right. So if you don't have, do you have a calculator on you? Okay. If you have a calculator, They got buku calculators over in the bookstore, $15 for a TI, 30, and you're good. All right. Okay. Top of second column. As is customary, if you take all 3 midterms, we will drop the lowest score and keep the best 2. All right. Most of you are going to be here for all 3. And it's always above 80%, way above 80% that are here for all 3. If you do miss an exam due to absence, either excused or unexcused, so if you're in the hospital or if you're playing hooky, that's unexcused. Hospital would be excused. That's going to be your test that is dropped. It'll be a 0 in that. Now, if you have 2 excused absences, like you're in the hospital twice, and it happens, hopefully it doesn't happen in this class, but it has happened in the past, then we recalculate grades. But if it's just 1 absence, all right, that's your dropped exam. And you got to sit with the other 2. So it really behooves you, by hook or by crook, to get in here for each midterm exam. Because then you'll have the luxury of dropping your lowest exam score. If you miss an exam, you've got to keep all the other 2 grades that you've got, even if one of them is stinky. But if you're here for 3, you drop that stinky one, you keep your better 2. It's very nice. So I always encourage everybody, if you have to get your friends to wheel you in on a wheelchair or a gurney and take the exam, well, I'm kind of kidding, but do your best to get in here. Short of coming in by helicopter or something like that. Okay, so get in here and take all 3, and most of you will. It'll work out really good for you. Okay. Final exam is cumulative, mandatory, and cannot be dropped. So everybody's got to be here for that. You're well advised to make sure your schedule is clear on Tuesday, May 2nd until mid-afternoon. Our exam finishes at 12:50 on May 2nd. All right? So if you're planning to take a flight out of OIA at 1:15, you ain't going to make, you might not make it. All right? OIA, that's Orlando International Airport, yeah. MCO, right. So just don't fool around. All right? If your parents are getting you, if you've got to go to your brother's graduation up in New York State and your parents are getting you tickets, better tell them it's got to be after May 2nd. Or it's got to be supper time, late afternoon on May 2nd, because otherwise, Dr. B, because I'm not going to budge, not an inch. Never, ever. You've got to be here. There's no alternative. Yeah, that last sentence, I never budge. All right, so make perfect attendance your priority. That's good. And you'll be happy about it. Okay, special study groups. This is something that's really nice. Now, I want you to listen carefully to this, and we'll dismiss in just a minute. If possible, we'll form special study groups after exam 2. And what they are is, Caroline was a special study group leader. I choose students, maybe 4 or 5, that have gotten good grades, an A average on the first 2 midterms. And then I ask them if they would like to lead a 1-hour study group for 6 other students. And if they say yes, then we set up sign-ups, and then anybody can sign up for that study group. You will earn 4 bonus points for attending that special study group. And so that's bonus points just for attending and studying, and then actually being in the study group will actually get you, another 2 or 3 points, hopefully more, on the test itself. So it's going to help you with your grades. All right, and then we'll do that again with the same students or the same leaders to prepare for the final. So exam 3, we do it once, and then for the final. So that's 4 bonus points possibly if you do both. Now, if you're a special study group leader, and you agree to be a special study group leader, there is a special benefit for you. All right? I'm going to try to look at everybody in here. I never know who the special study group leaders are. I don't know who they're going to be. It could be you with the blue hat. It must be. It is your destiny. I never know who it's going to be. But for those who are special study group leaders, and they do their first special study group, an hour, and they help 6 of their classmates, and then they do it again before the final, so like during finals week. Those students are allowed to skip the final. Would you like to skip the final? Yeah. Raise your hand if you don't want to skip the final. Don't raise your hand. Okay. All right. All right. So that's the special benefit for special study group leaders. Okay. YouTube lectures. The link is in web courses. This lecture is being recorded as we speak. The exam schedule is here. It's pretty important. Let's look at this, and then we'll dismiss. Okay. February 7th and March 7th, and then April 11th, and then May 2nd for the final. So if you work off campus, make sure that your final is, you get time off for ask now. Okay? And then the other ones are in class, so just, 10:30 to 12, and 50 points, and you come to class, and it's good. Now, one more thing I want to emphasize with this. This schedule that you now have is like a contract. So we're going to stick to the schedule. I'm not going to budge from it. If you can't make it, drop this class and do it another semester. All right? We're not done yet. Do you have a question? Yes, final is cumulative. It's mandatory, cumulative, and you can't skip it. Question?
What's like a general number of questions that are going to be after the midterm?
What's the general number of questions? It's going to be 50 points, and the Scantron part is 1 point each. But then we do some clicker questions, and that's where you type in numbers for a calculation. And that might be 4 or 5, 6 points. So it might be 40-something clicker questions, 1 point each, and then 2 or 3 clicker questions. 40-something Scantron questions, 1 point each, and then 3 or 4 clicker questions, 2 or 3 points each, because they're calculations. So, but and double that for the final. Question?
Where did we get the
The iClicker 2?
well, not the actual.
Yeah. Where do we get those? I don't want to say. I have conflicted feelings about the bookstore, but supposedly the bookstore sells them. I don't know. Has anybody been to CB&S? Do they sell? Yeah. Okay. So CB&S, just check around. I mean, there's a lot of classes that use them. So the bookstore, the UCF bookstore, they're pretty. They're kind of. Yeah. You can rent. I've heard of that. But one thing you got to remember, if you rent them, you've got to rent it all the way up to the end of the final. You can't rent it and turn it in the day before the final because you're going to be TOAST. You got to use it on the final exam. All right? Now, homework 0 will activate by supper time. You're dismissed 6 minutes early. I'll see you on Thursday. Okay, we went through the whole syllabus. Very nice. Caroline, thank you.